Hey, how y'all doing? My name is Greg. Just here to talk to you about a few things. Um, just wanted to talk to you about the state of the NFL and the things that they're talking about with the coaching cycle. I guess we'll talk about this Flores lawsuit and just the state of the NFL, of how the coaches are going. So yeah. So I guess currently now, I believe there's 3 head coaching jobs left. Yes, because I think the Vikings got Kevin O'Connell, or they're going to get Kevin O'Connell after the Super Bowl, and the Jaguars just hired Doug Peterson. So now we have 3 coaching jobs left. We have the Saints job, we have the Texans job, and we have the last job? Oh, the Dolphins job. Okay, yeah. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. So, I mean, everybody's talking about Brian Flores. Personally, for me, I think these lawsuits that he's filing is just a product of him being pissed off he didn't get the Giants job. He didn't think that he should have been fired with the Dolphins, and he wanted the Giants job. So he got all upset and just said, "Oh, I'm gonna sue, and I'm gonna accuse the NFL of racial discrimination." But I'm trying to figure out how he's being discriminated against. You know, he's not the only coach to ever think that he did okay and got fired. Okay? You let me know when a black coach goes 14-2 and gets fired like Marty Schottenheimer. Okay? I think that's the most egregious example of a man who did a great job and got fired. Okay? Okay? He was considered a person that couldn't win the big game. They were 14-2. They were the number 1 seed. They lose a home game to the Patriots, and Marty Schottenheimer is just fired. Okay? I don't think you can ever name a black man. You can name the Jim Caldwells, the Ray Rhodes, the Lovie Smiths, the whoever. That is the most egregious example of somebody getting fired. Okay? That's crazy to me. Okay? So, just off that, clearly white guys, if they don't get the job done, owner will fire you. Because, 14-2 is like almost impossible to do. Anyway, I want to just kind of talk about Flores, and then I'm going to kind of add a fresh perspective on things or whatever. Like, Flores, like I said, I think he was upset that he didn't get the Giants job. And not only did he's upset about that, but, he thought he did well with the Dolphins. And, what was he? 24-25 or 23-25? Dude, yeah, okay, I don't think he should have got fired, but it's not like he was killing it either. At the end of the season, he's losing the games like to Tennessee to get into the playoffs. He really didn't develop his quarterback. And you're also hearing that he was just a hard person to get along with. The Dolphins had to basically lose an offensive line coach. They had to trade Minkah Fitzpatrick. So apparently he's not an easy guy to get along with. He had issues with the GM. Not to say that the GM is great, but he is a hard person, it seems like, to get along with. So it's more than just race here. And even with all that, even though he didn't get the Giants job, looks like the Texans would have hired him if he wouldn't have sued the league. But now that he sued the league, he ain't getting a job no more. He put Belichick out on Front Street. He exposed their personal text messages. And honestly, I don't even know why he even did that, because honestly, it makes no sense for him to even do that, because Belichick doesn't work for the Giants. So why exactly is Belichick saying, "I think you got the job," justification that you were screwed over? You didn't get somebody from the Giants front office to say this. So why like Belichick works for the Patriots. At best, he's an advisor. At best, he's somebody that gives a referral. That's it. Like, okay, like, I mean, even if somehow he thought they were going to get the job, things break down. There is nothing there as far as I'm concerned. And then he accuses John Elway of being drunk during his interview 2 years ago and saying that, he had me waiting in the lobby for an hour. Okay, like, first of all, it doesn't seem like that's even true, because Brian Flores made quotes about, this was a great learning experience. I thought Denver handled their interview well. It's a great organization. You had nothing but great things to say about Denver after your interview was over. And now all of a sudden you don't get the Giants job, and you might have to be a defensive coordinator. Probably not, because you would have got the Texans job, but there was a possibility looking like you were going to go back as a DC because you didn't want the other jobs. Now Denver was horrible to you, and the guy was drunk and he was waiting in the lobby, and they're a classless organization, and the Giants screwed you over, and you're just like saying all this stuff or whatever with no proof, and you just look like a very vindictive person. And it's dumb, because he would have got, like I said, he was a betting favorite to get the Houston Texans job. So, like, why exactly did you do that? Bill Belichick did not succeed his first time as a head coach in Cleveland. If he would have reacted like Brian Flores did, he would have never had the success that he would have had with the Patriots. Nobody would want to hire him. He would have been seen as disgruntled, and then he wouldn't have been able to do what he had done and build a dynasty with 6 championships. So, I mean, you got to look at the history before you start saying, a bad interview is a bad interview experience is a black man's experience. No, plenty of white guys have had bad interviews. That is an American experience. A lot of people have had bad interviews. That's not something that they just do to black people. And that's not just something they do in the NFL to black people. I'm sure a lot of white guys thought, I killed that interview and they didn't really give me a chance. So that's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then everybody wants to make it out that, Eric Bienemy is not getting a job because he's white. I mean, no, he's being interviewed by white guys, and they're not going to give him the job. They're not respecting him because he's black, even though he's the offensive coordinator for Kansas City. Okay, first of all, again, is Eric Bieniemy this great offensive coach? Is he the one that's, spearheading this offense? I mean, Andy Reid is the head coach. That's number one, okay? Everywhere Andy Reid has gone, he's had a great offense, okay? And before, initially, he was calling the plays. Now that Eric Bieniemy is like having issues getting a job, they're saying that, it's Eric Bieniemy calling the plays. Okay. Maybe it's true. If he was calling the plays, now, how did the Chiefs end up when they had to play the Bengals and they went against a mediocre defense, and they basically ran the same 3-man rush, 1 linebacker spy, drop 7 coverage against Mahomes, and they couldn't do anything? So am I blaming Bieniemy or am I blaming Reid? Who am I blaming here? Because we want to give Bieniemy all the credit when they're doing great. So now that they had an embarrassing loss to a team they should have never even lost to, they should have probably beat them by like 10 to 17 points. Who gets the blame? Since we want to say that Bieniemy is the play caller now, right? Who gets the blame? Okay? Also, the big thing with me with Bieniemy is this. Ryan Poles got the job for Chicago as the GM. He came from Kansas City. He is a black man. This is his first job as a GM. Okay, so if Eric Bieniemy is this genius head coach, if anybody would know how special he is, Would it not be Ryan Poles for Chicago? Would it not be Ryan Poles for Chicago? He would know. He worked with them the last however long he's been there, at least 2 to 3 years. So he would know how special Bienemy is. Not only did he not give him the job, he didn't even give this man an interview. Not an interview. So don't tell me that, oh, it's these white people that are hating on this guy. Obviously, they just don't like what they're hearing in the interviews when they're interviewing this guy. Not to mention, I'm sure they don't believe that he's calling the plays or he's like this like special sauce offensive coordinator that Andy Reid found out of nowhere, and he's the reason why Mahomes is throwing for 5,000 yards. I don't think people are buying it. So I know we want to feel bad for him because he's black, but maybe we should just judge him just off of what people see. You cannot tell me that when a black man coming from the same organization like Ryan Poles did and didn't even give the man an interview, let alone a job, how is that possible if he is this special coach? Now, obviously, it remains to see if he gets a head coaching job, if he is going to be special. But, I mean, you can't call it racism when a black man from the same organization didn't want nothing to do with this guy. Excuse me. And I'm going to add one more example of what I'm talking about as far as a situation where we cannot say that, oh, there's only one head coach, there's only one black head coach, when the Jaguars were basically begging Byron Leftwich to be their head coach. They were basically begging this guy. They were waiting on him. 1 week goes by, 2 weeks goes by. Tampa loses to the Rams. Yo, man, come down. Be our head coach. You are a player here. I think you'd be good. Oh, no. Well, I don't want the GM here. I don't want to work with Balky. If you want me, the great Byron Leftwich, like he's done something special. What the hell has Byron Leftwich done that he gets to make demands on who the GM is going to be? What has he done? 3 years as an offensive coordinator, this is what the man has done. Okay? He was offensive coordinator when Jameis Winston's last year with Tampa. Jameis Winston threw for, 5,000 yards? Okay, that's good. Here's the problem. Jameis Winston threw 30 picks. 30 picks. Everybody was like, oh, Tampa had this great offense, fifth in the league in offense. And also, okay, they also had 30 interceptions. So he doesn't get credit for the turnovers that Winston threw, but he gets credit for the yards Winston threw. I don't know how that works exactly. That doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, that's when he had an okay quarterback with so-called great talent, by the way. Then Brady comes in. Okay, and of course they're doing well, but the offense is kind of struggling to find their identity, even though they have literally an all-star team at the skill position. They have Mike Evans, they have Gronkowski, they have Chris Godwin, they have O.J. Howard. They have all this talent. And they are struggling. And in the middle of the season, and this is what a lot of people don't talk about, even though they want to hype up Byron Leftwich, Brady did not like the offense that Leftwich was doing, and he switched the offense in the middle of the year. So why does Byron Leftwich get credit when Brady said, no, I don't like this offense, I have to switch it around? Does that make any sense? Does that sound like a genius? He didn't go in and say, yo, Leftwich is like this amazing play caller. The offense is perfect. This is so much better than what I had in New England. Oh my gosh, like, yo, this guy, I don't know, where have you been all my life? Byron Leftwich, ooh, no, he did not do that. No, he did not. He said, yo, this offense is ass, bro. Like, I need to switch it back to the way I had it in New England. That's what he said, okay? And then this year, again, I'm sure they had a decent year, and they lose to the Rams. Okay, so his last 2 years carries him to the point where he can get an opportunity to be a head coach. And what does he do? He makes all these demands. He acts like a prima donna. I can't work with this guy. You got to do this. You got to do that. Okay? When people start doing that, you cannot complain that they don't want to hire you. They offered you the job. You're saying that I have to have so and so and so. That's not being racist. That's you being a prima donna. That's you making demands thinking that you have to have it this way, that way, and the third. Okay? That's not a racism problem. That's not a racism problem. It would be a racism problem if you were killing it and they just didn't want to hire you. Okay? Okay? And maybe you would have made that argument with Bienemy. And maybe you could have made that argument with Bienemy if I did not see that Ryan Poles came from that organization and did not want nothing to do with him. So now I know that it's not a racist issue. Okay? And honestly, before I didn't even think it was a racist issue because I don't even think Eric Bieniemy is really running that offense like that because it's Andy Reid. And everybody knows that. So I don't even know why people are even going there. But anyway, if you believe that Eric Bieniemy was running that offense, it would have made more sense in that situation. But if you really know football, it would be a better educated guess that it was Andy Reid running that offense, considering that he killed it in Philly and he was the one that basically drafted Mahomes and developed him. Okay. So anyway, this is where I'm at with it, man. You got 3 jobs left. You got the Saints job, you got the Texans job, and you got the Dolphins job. And none of them are perfect. I guess if you're going to be honest, I think the best job is probably the Dolphins job. Okay? You don't have a great quarterback there, but you got a defense that led the league in sacks. The Saints also have a really good defense, but obviously you don't have a quarterback there. But guess what, Leftwich? If you really wanted to go to a job where it was like a high potential quarterback, the Jaguars job was available, and you didn't want to go there. You were acting like you wanted to be this prima donna and this, that, and the third, and you had to get that. So now you can't complain. So if you want a job and they're still interviewing you, you got the Dolphins, you got the Saints, you got the Texans. You didn't want Trevor Lawrence, so okay. Do what you need to do. Or you can go back to being an offensive coordinator. But guess what? Guess who retired? Tom Brady retired. So who's going to be your quarterback next year? I have no idea. You're going to have to draft one, or you're going to have to sign one. You're going to get Jimmy Garoppolo in there? Probably not. Or even if you did, is that who you want? Is that going to make your resume look better? Probably not. So you screwed yourself, dude. And guess what? The guy who they hired at Jacksonville, Doug Peterson, is a Super Bowl winner. So that job was good enough for somebody who's won a Super Bowl, but not good enough for you, Byron Leftwich? Wow. Wow. You're making it so everybody's like, oh, the Jaguars job is a job that nobody wants. Nobody would want a job like that. Well, guess what? Doug Peterson, who won a Super Bowl, wanted a job like that. So I want to see somebody complain and said nobody wants that job. Yes, Doug Peterson won that job. And he's a credible coach. He won a Super Bowl. He beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. He won with Nick Foles. So he's damn sure. So I'm sure he'll take Trevor Lawrence after winning a Super Bowl with Nick Foles. I'm sure he'll learn to work with him. I'm sure he will. Somehow, some way, I think he'll find he'll do what he has to do to work with Trevor Lawrence after working with Nick Foles. I mean, give me a break, dude. This is absolute joke. Okay, it's a joke. So you know what, man? I don't care about the race thing. I want the organizations to pick the best coaches possible that they can pick. But what I don't like is these excuses and these complaints, dude. I just don't see it. I don't. I kind of feel for David Culley because he only got 1 year. But you know what? The man got $22 million. You only coach 1 year, you get $22 million. That's not too bad, man. That's not too bad. I mean, you went 4-13. You can't really complain when somebody wants to fire you, dude. That is really that simple. You go 4-13, regardless of whether you think you have the pieces or not. A coach is going to look at it, and the owner and GM is going to look at it and make a decision. So, you know what? Maybe he could have done, maybe got another chance, but, the man got paid $22 million. They gave him a 4-year contract, and they're giving him all the money in 1 year. So, that's not too bad, bro. Make it seem like these dudes are just, not getting paid. They're not getting compensated, whatever. Okay? And again, they wanted to hire another black coach. So how is that racist? They wanted to hire Flores until he screwed himself with this lawsuit. Now, how are you going to hire somebody like that now? But they're racist. No. The Dolphins GM, the guy that made the decision to fire him, was black. Chris Greer. He's black. Again, Ryan Poles. They hired him to be the GM of the coach, and he picked a white guy from Indianapolis. So I don't get you, bro. I mean, look, I just don't get it, man. It's not like Whitey in the ownership, Whitey in the front office, basically not taking any black coaches. No, man. The Minnesota GM is black. He wanted Jim Harbaugh. He hired Kevin O'Connell. Yeah, I thought he was interested in Jim Harbaugh. I don't know. I'm not sure if Jim Harbaugh didn't take the job or... Yeah, I think he just didn't take the job and went back to Michigan. But he's black. The GM is black. Okay? So, if there was a guy out there that they really liked, they're going to hire them, dude. I don't understand this argument that they're not hiring black coaches. They are hiring black coaches. Todd Bowles will probably be in the running for a job. He might get rehired again. So, I mean, honestly, it really just doesn't matter, dude. To me, it just doesn't matter. You have a right to hire who they want. As long as they got a credible resume, I don't understand why this is such a problem. Nobody cares that, the NBA is 85% black or whatever it is, because we're just trying to take the best players. And most of the best players just happen to be black. We're not saying, there's not enough white corners in the league. No, we don't care because we just want the best players. The best players are black, Asian, Hispanic. I just want the best players on the team. Period. End of story. So, I mean, that's just basically where I'm coming from with this whole topic, man. I hope you guys get a chance to hear what I have to say. I tried to break it down as best as I could, and that's pretty much all I got. I'm really just trying to wait here for this bank to open up because I got $100 in cash that I'm trying to deposit in my account. So I just decided to do this video real quick. But I've been arguing on social media about this stuff for a little bit, so I just figured I'd put it on YouTube, Thank you guys for listening to me. Hope you guys have a good day. Hope you guys hear what I have to say and just realize that, I mean, look, if you would have made this argument, what is it, 2022, if you wanted to make this argument 40, 50 years ago, when the league actually discriminated against black people, I would have been more understandable, dude. I understand where the pain of Warren Moon and Randall Cunningham and, Doug Williams, I understand their frustration on things. I don't understand anybody trying to make a claim that the league is racist and they're not trying to, do anything for black people or black athletes or black coaches and what. That just doesn't make any sense to me, dude. These dudes want to win. I think they've bent over backwards to try and make sure that, black people are represented in this league on all levels. This is just the way it is right now, that there's only one black coach. There will be more black coaches because there's a lot of black people in football and they're going to get opportunities. So it's just that football is a very popular sport. It's the most mainstream sport. So you have a wide competitive of people that are trying to get involved in football. And you know what? A lot of smart dudes are just happen to be, white guys. So, and you don't have to play football to be an executive or a coach. If it was just based on, you have to be athletic to be a coach. Yeah, it would be like 25 coaches that are black. But it's a combination of just like knowledge, being able to how you conduct yourself and just knowledge of the game and whatnot. And that's another thing with Bienemy. He has a criminal record that people don't want to talk about. He has a criminal record. So you can say that, the owner of the Patriots and the owner of the Colts, they committed crimes too. Well, they're owners, dude. If they were trying to get jobs, they would have a problem. But when you own the team or when you own the business, at the end of the day, the customers are the one that have to take that into account, whether they want to contribute to your business anymore because of your criminal record. And obviously, the people who are Patriots fans don't seem to care, or the people of the Colts don't seem to care. That would be the only way that it would affect their business. But as far as, people that they're trying to hire, the people that are reliable in business as far as middle management goes, you don't want people with criminal records representing your franchise, probably, for the most part. Or if they do have it, they better be like immaculate in their performance. That's how it goes. So anyway, I hope you guys like what I was trying to say. And if not, please leave a comment. Let me know what's going on. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a good day, and God bless. All right. See you guys later.